Hello guys, welcome back to A Page in the Chapter, or welcome if you are new here. The stitch top is on, the ears are out. That can only mean one thing. It's time for my magical Hopathon round 2 TBR! So the Magical Hopathon, if you don't know, is a readathon run by my friend Rachel. I will leave her channel and her announcement video linked down in the description box if you would like to go and watch and get involved in this readathon. Round 1 was held back in October, which was centered around Disney World in Florida, and you had to read books to go on rides and complete the different parks. And this is a 2-week readathon centered around Disneyland Paris. Disneyland Paris only has 2 parks, hence the 2-week long readathon, and this one is a lot more flexible than the first round. I loved the first round. It's my favourite readathon that I've ever taken a part in. It made me book a trip to Disneyland. Like, it was so immersive and I loved every second of it, but it was very intense. You had to read a lot of books, and this one is so much more flexible. So what I love about this readathon is that you get a prompt for each ride, like show or character meet, and it just feels very immersive because you're kind of like, oh, what ride do I want to go on next, and like what book should I read to go on that ride. When Rachel does like the sprints for this, then you get to, like, as a chat, like vote on what ride you want to go on, and then based on the queue time of that ride is the length of the sprint. So if a ride has a 30-minute wait, then you've got to do 30 minutes of reading in order to be able to get on that ride. Like, it's so immersive and I had so much fun with it. So I'm very happy to take part in it again this time around, especially because this one is Disneyland Paris, where I've actually been before and will be going again in 2 months. Hence the ears and the shirt. I also have Disney shoes. But I've gone a little bit insane. So today we are going through my TBR for this readathon. If you guys want to get involved or stick around to see how I do, then do please feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below to stay tuned for future content. I upload twice a week on a Wednesday and a Friday, so there is no shortage of bookish content here for you to enjoy. And I've already rambled on and off about how much I enjoy this readathon, so let's just get into the books and the prompts. It was very fun kind of planning out my TBR this time around because I'm going, as I said, in June, so it feels a bit like I'm planning the events of my actual trip. So I've planned that I will be starting off in the Disneyland Paris park, which checks out. I'm going all the way there. I should probably start in the Disneyland Paris park. And so the park entrance prompt for the Disneyland Paris park is to read a book that is calling to you. This prompt basically acts as your entry ticket. You can't enter Disneyland without purchasing a ticket first, so you have to read an entry book. The book that has been calling to me for some time now is Writers and Lovers by Lily King. I have nearly bought this book so many times and then been like, no, I know someone who gave it a bad review, or no, I know someone who said this about it, or no, this isn't something I would normally read, I'm probably gonna hate it. Like, there's been about 4 times when I've nearly purchased this book and haven't. And yet, I still, every time I see it, I really want to pick it up. So this book has been calling to me for some time and I finally just purchased it. So this is a little bit like Olive in that it's a coming of age story set in your 30s rather than in your 20s, which is kind of why I don't know if I'll like it, because I'm not in my 30s. But it's calling to me. So this follows our main character, and she has just gone out of this like torrid love affair, and her mum has just died, and she's been writing this novel for 6 years, but she just doesn't feel like it's going everywhere, and basically everything in her life is just falling apart. And then she meets Silas and Oscar, who are 2 very different men who she can envision 2 very, very different lives with, and she very much has to find herself, find out what she wants, and find out if either of these 2 men can offer her exactly what she's looking for. And yeah, it's just very much about overcoming grief and coming to terms with aging and not being a young adult anymore. and I'm tempted by it and I really want to read it, so I finally just picked it up. I'm really nervous about this one. I could be setting myself up to start on a really bad note, but I can't think of any other book that is like actually like calling to me. I read this prompt and this book just immediately jumped to mind, so I have to start somewhere and it's going to be with this book. So then once we are in the Disneyland Paris park, don't think I'll actually be going like straight on any rides. I will probably be going to do a character meet first. So I will be going to the Sweet as Honey selfie spot, obviously, and that is to read a book that brings you comfort. And so in the interest of trying to read multiple books and get as many things crossed off my TBR as I can, the book that I will be reading is a little bit of a cheat one, and that's because I will be rereading Heartstopper. Probably start with volume 1. I might read volume 1 and 2 and just count like the 2 books as one, because don't get me wrong, a graphic novel is very much a book. But it feels a bit like cheating because I know I can read these books in under an hour because I have done before. But this is a book that brings me comfort. And the other books that bring me comfort would be The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which is a 400-page book that I have read 3 times before, so maybe not that one again, or Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, but I literally read that one in March. So Heartstopper it is. I don't know why it feels like cheating, it just does a little bit, but this is the book that brings me comfort and I really want to reread it, especially before, you know, we get like the Netflix series and stuff. So there's nothing wrong with a good old-fashioned reread, and it just means that I'll be able to go on more rides. Like maybe when I got to the Sweet as Honey selfie spot, there was no queue. Like maybe that's just what's happening. I don't know, but... And so after doing that, I'm going to hop out of Disneyland Paris and like waddle on over into Walt Disney Studios because I'm more excited about the rides that are in Walt Disney Studios. So, you know, I want to go see the castle, meet a character, you know, but then I'm probably gonna hop on over to the next park. And the first ride that I desperately want to go on is Ratatouille, because the last time I went to Disneyland Paris, this ride hadn't opened yet. It had been like built, it was set to open literally like a month or so after I left. I was heartbroken. So Ratatouille is like the first ride that I want to go on when I get there. And the prompt for this is to read a book that features food. And I've really entertained myself by what I've done with this prompt. And that is because the book that I've chosen for this is New Moon by Stephanie Meyer, the second book in the Twilight series, as we all know. And like humans and food and like, you know, Bella is almost food and that's why the colours have to leave. Like, I don't know, I just thought that it was funny. I wanted to read a Twilight book and I could have fit it in anywhere else, but fitting it in for the food prompt just brought me great amusement. So I'm taking some liberties with this prompt, but I think it's funny, so I'm going to allow it. Rachel did not specify that it had to be human food. She is a human and she is food to a vampire, therefore this book contains food. And so then, there are some other rides that I would like to do in Walt Disney Studios and in Disneyland Paris Park, but unfortunately my first day is over, so it's time to go on back over to the Disneyland Paris Park ready for Disney Illuminations, because this is my favourite part of any Disneyland Paris trip. So you know what, I would rather prioritise getting to see Disney's Illuminations and do the rest of my rides tomorrow. And so the prompt for Disney's Illuminations is to read a book with a beautiful cover. I have no shortage of books with stunning covers. It's why I have this collection in the first place. But I have chosen Persuasion by Jane Austen, mostly because of the colour of this one. It's like a lovely green colour and I love the colour green. I don't know how I will find this book. It's a second chance romance between our 2 main characters. Our female main character was persuaded out of her engagement with this man when she was younger because he had a promising career but he didn't have any money to his name at that moment in time, and so she never married, and then it's about them reconnecting now that he's older and has made a name for himself. I'm not sure if it's really for me, but I did say I wanted to start reading more classics. I am so drawn to the just the colour and the cover of this book. So we'll give this one a go. I mean, I might swap it out for another one. We don't know. All of these classics have beautiful covers in one way or another. So this is the pick for Disney's Illuminations, but we could swap it around. I could end up buying another book that I think has a stunning cover or I'm desperate to read, so I'll swap it out. We'll see what happens. And so then I would also love to, you know, if I have time during my trip, I would love to get on Crush's coaster. This was one of my favourite roller coasters when I went last time. My favourite coaster was Rockin' Roller Coaster, but you know, they've got rid of that one now, so I guess it's gonna have to be Crush's coaster. And so the prompt for Crush's coaster is to read a TBR veteran. Solitaire by Alice Oseman has been on my TBR for over 6 months now. I purchased this book when I was in a massive like Alice Oseman heartstopper obsession. And then I opened this book and was immediately met by the author's note, which is also a content warning, and I was a bit put off. I was a bit scared to go into this book, and I'm still a little bit scared to go into this book. But it's been one of the books that's been on my TBR the longest. I do feel like I'm in a better place to be able to handle a book such as this, and I do think Alice Oseman is able to write things in a not so scary way. And so we have my magical Hopathon. Oh no, wait, that's the wrong way around. And so we have my magical Hopathon TBR. I do feel like I should say that these are subject to change, because if I buy books or like I'm still in a super obsessed romance mood, then I will change them. I'm sorry, but I want to have a good time and I will change them if I have to. But I do plan on blogging the experience, so there will be a magical Hopathon blog so you guys will be updated on everything the whole way through. And I'm just excited about taking part in the readathon. I'm not too fussed about the actual books at the moment. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do hope that you enjoyed. As I said, go and check out Rachel's channel and the magical Hopathon announcement video. You guys should take part. It would be so fun to just have more people getting Disney excited. Let me know down in the comment section if you guys are taking part, what your priority rides are, what your priority books are. Let's just have a chat about the magical Hopathon, basically. If you guys did enjoy this video and you want to stick around to see the vlog of me taking part or how this all turns out, then do feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below to stay tuned for future content. I upload twice a week on a Wednesday and a Friday, so there is no shortage of bookish content here for you to enjoy. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week, you are enjoying everything that you are reading, and I will see you next week for my next video. Bye guys.